I clicked go live and now
The
I'm
meeting
going to
is
go.
now streaming live on Facebook.
Oh, Facebook. Hi. It's us. It's me and it's Aaron Ring over there. Today, this is our guest on Comic Spot. Hi, Aaron Ring.
Hello, Linda, and hello, Facebook.
Hi. So nice to have you. I want to read everybody your intro that you sent to me. I can never memorize this stuff, so I'm just going to read it.
Okay.
It says, Aaron Ring is the host of Blue Annex, a weekly drop-in comedy workshop. I've heard so much good about it, you guys. He also co-hosts The Nice Guys, a virtual feature show. I lost my place. A virtual feature show that happens the second and fourth Monday of every month. He was recently, get this, a semi-finalist in the Boston Comedy Festival. Okay, do I have to read it twice? He was a semi-finalist in the Boston Comedy Festival. All right. And Mira once called him brilliant. And Shaquille O'Neal called him Spielberg. Despite the suspicion of good-natured anti-Semitism in the latter, he'll take it. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Welcome to the show, the amazing Aaron Ring. Hi. Woo!
Hi.
So nice to see you today here on this little show. I'm going to go and make sure that I clicked on the privacy setting for it to be live.
Cool.
So it should be also streaming on your page as well for your people. We'll see if Mark Zuckerberg does his job. I did mine.
I think he always does his job. Not always for good, but
That's
he's always
true.
doing it.
That's
So
true.
first, let me say, Linda, I'm a big fan.
You're a fan of mine?
Yes, of course I am.
That is so cool. Oh, man. How come didn't you bring me a martini?
When that technology exists, I mean, I'll never leave the house. Again, I guess. But someday I will make you one in person.
Oh, how sweet are you? So, Aaron Ring, let people know what you've been going through in the last year with the pandemic so they get a feel of who you are, where you've been, how it's affected you, and then we'll go into your childhood up to today. But
Sure.
first, how has the pandemic affected you personally? In your family, how's it made you a better human, relating to people? Talk to me.
Well, first I gotta say I'm living my best pandemic.
Yes.
Um, I I tell people I live in New York City, and in my mind I still do, but I've been in Northampton, Massachusetts since March 13th.
Yes.
So
And how have things been going up there out of the city, away from the city?
I, you know, I mean, I sometimes I think I experience thriver's guilt as opposed to survivor's guilt. Things are good here. Um, I've got a lot more space. I mean, it's that said, compared to, most people's suburban homes or homes anywhere outside of New York, it's not big. We have a small like 2-bedroom duplex condo. But I'm talking to you from an office with the door closed, which, you don't get in a tiny New York 1-bedroom.
It's true.
And we've got 2 bathrooms. Linda, I don't know if I could ever go back to just having 1 bathroom.
Exactly.
I gotta tell you, if you are living with a significant other, and you've got 2 bathrooms and you're still fighting, break up. It does not get better than that.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and we hike every weekend. It's gorgeous up here. The landscape in Western Massachusetts is it's in a bunch of paintings in the American wing at the Met. A lot of Hudson River School artists came through here. The I wouldn't say the restaurants are wonderful. I mean, they're in fact compared to New York, they leave a lot to be desired, but the food is wonderful. We're surrounded by farms. Uh, I I still eat meat, and we get our meat
Yep.
from a butcher who gets it from farmers like that morning. Uh, I get my bread from a bakery. Basically, I'm living in the 19th century, but only the good parts of it.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
yeah. Uh,
Do you wash your clothes down at the river and beat them with a rock?
um, no, that's not a good part of the 19th century. In fact, you know what? Let me change my background here, and I will show you some of the landscape.
Oh, that would be so awesome. And then we'll go right into your childhood.
Right. Okay. This is the Connecticut River.
Love
It
it.
it's not as green as it is right now. It's snowy, but it's actually beautifully snowy outside. But this is, a 15-minute bike ride from where I am right now. This is a painting by Thomas Cole. I'm gonna get rid of me for a second. Oh, there. Okay. It's the Oxbow, taken from the top of Mount Holyoke, which also, just a few minutes away from me. I've been in that spot, and the view hasn't changed that much. And this was painted in like 1830 or something. It's really nice around here. The Pioneer Valley is very beautiful.
It's very beautiful. So Thomas Cole is a famous
He was a painter.
painter.
Yeah, he was a painter in the Hudson River School.
Nice. So he did all up in the East Coast area, Upper East.
Yeah, yeah. Northeast New England, New York.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, let's go to your childhood.
Okay, well, this is
Sometimes
good practice because I have therapy in the morning.
Sometimes I feel like I'm doing an impression, a really bad one, of Martin Short when he's interviewing people as that character.
Uh-huh. Jimmy
Let's go to
Cricket.
your childhood. Enough with that. Let's go to your childhood. So, what would you say in 3 words that sums up how you were raised? 3 to 5 words.
Loving household.
What?
Loving household.
Got
Loving
it.
suburban household. But it was the 70s and 80s, so problematic world.
Yes. Yes. So, talk to me about where you grew up, how many brothers and sisters, what kind of activities you did as a kid. How did comedy play itself out in your growing up? This is what everybody tunes in to hear. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I grew up in Massachusetts, but not Western Massachusetts. I grew up on the South Shore, just south of Boston, in a town called Canton, Massachusetts, which Bill Burr has put on the map. Um, his show, the animated show, F is for family.
I'm turning up my microphone, so I'm putting on my microphone so I can hear you better.
Okay.
I think I'm losing my hearing.
Uh,
There.
so- So I believe the show F is for family is that's a pretty good picture of what Canton, Massachusetts was like when I was growing up.
Okay.
Pretty standard South Shore town. Very Catholic, but very Irish Catholic. But my neighbors were the Feinbergs and the Rappaports. So I kind of lived in the Pale of Jewish settlement, a little suburban shtetl.
You don't strike me as a Catholic.
No, I'm not. No, according to Ancestry.com, I'm 138% Jewish.
That's awesome. Me too.
Right.
I'm 75.
Okay.
If you go back to my grandparents.
Yeah,
So-
my wife is 75.
Is she?
Yeah, she says she's 3/4 Russian Jewish, 1/4 Polish anti-Semite. She's much funnier than I am.
That's hilarious. I'm at 75% Jewish, and the 25%, I just needed the 25% to be my mother, and it wasn't. So I'm a Meshuggah mixed up half breed.
Well, you know what? You'll always be Jewish to me.
Thank you. That means the world to me.
And honestly, I don't see, aside from Jesus, and don't get me wrong, I know that's big, but aside from Jesus, there isn't a whole lot of difference between Catholics and Jews.
Not really.
No,
Not
a lot
really.
of guilt, food,
Yep.
talk,
Rules.
yeah, rules. I mean,
like
you
to
know,
eat.
the whole thing fell apart with the Reformation. That's when people got different.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah,
So did you? So you grew up in a small area, in a loving household, in a mixed up time in the world. So outside of your home, the world was very different than in your home. So speak to that for a moment, because not everybody was around to know what you're speaking of.
well, in a week I turned 52 years old. And look,
Congratulations! Happy birthday early.
I mean, I've only got one New Year's resolution, and that's to not turn 52 years old. And we'll see how that goes.
You don't want to turn
I mean, my
another
New Year's
year?
resolution last year was to go out a lot less, and hey, I did it. So I'm feeling pretty good about this one. Maybe my birthday isn't next week. Well, you know, we'll see. But I think I'm in the last generation to have done atomic drills in elementary school.
Yes,
You
I
remember,
remember.
you know, right. The bomb is coming. So get under your desk.
Yes, we were afraid of anybody in Asia.
Yeah.
But before that, we were afraid of the Russians.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like learning hate from the government.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was so inbred in us to be
Mhm.
fearful and prejudiced.
Yep. I mean, I grew up during the Cold War.
Yes.
That said, I was in college, and in fact, in Europe, when the wall came down.
Yes.
And I gotta say that might be the West's 89, 90 might be the West's best year. Um,
Because
because for that year,
Mhm.
even though I mean there wasn't peace everywhere, but that year it seemed like if you were like 20 years old, it seemed like there was a new peaceful world. It
yes,
was. Let me just. All right. It was 89. So if you were white and 20 years old in Europe, it seemed like a new peaceful world. I don't want to speak for
yes,
everyone, but
absolutely true.
but I was traveling in Europe, and it was beautiful. People didn't even want to see your passport. It was just one big love fest, whatever border you came into. Here's my pass. Oh, we don't need to see that. Come on in.
That's so
There
cool.
was a feeling of just joy in the world. Uh, and yeah, by 91 it was over. but but 89, 90, man, what a
Those
great
were
year.
good
Yeah,
years.
right.
So how did comedy start with you? Did you like find that you got attention by being funny? Girls liked you? It was self-defense to being bullied?
Oh,
What's your
girls never like
story?
me. Um,
I
uh,
find that hard to believe. I like you.
well, thank you so much.
Yes.
No, I've done a lot better as an adult. Uh, like my wife right now is extraordinarily out of my league. Um,
Really? Let's see her.
I she's in a meeting downstairs. But uh, the last time we traveled together, which granted was like a year ago. Um, uh, she was uh, she was given an upgrade, and I was not. So even Delta knows she's out of my league.
That's
Um,
funny.
True. Well, I don't. I first I wasn't always the Adonis you see before you. Um, I was always a an awkward kid. I was chubby. Um, I wore husky clothes. Um, I went to bed a lot later than I should have. Uh, I was extremely shy, afraid of everything. Like I was afraid of what was under the bed, what was in the closet, basically all storage. Um, I I really I didn't have many friends, and I pretty much came home from school and sat in front of the TV. I was like I wasn't a latchkey kid, uh, but I pretended to be one. All of I come from a family. I have three siblings.
Older, younger? How
Uh,
do you
I,
fall in?
I'm the oldest.
Wow.
Yeah. Um, but there's 6 years between us. So yeah. Um, Brian Kiley used to have a joke. That I don't know what he's doing now. He used to host a show at Catch Rising Star in Harvard Square, and later he wrote for Conan for many years. Maybe he still does. But he had a joke on the baby of my family. Uh, I'm not the youngest, but I'm the one who's bald and sleeps all day. Um, I'm I'm not bald, um,
No.
and I don't sleep all day, but I still feel like the baby of my family, even though I'm the oldest.
That's
Um,
interesting.
well, um, I've been married twice, but I don't have any kids. Uh, I I have a career now, but it's not comedy. I'm a creative director at a small advertising agency, but
Wonderful.
I didn't get to that or start any of that until later in life. I mean, I was uh, I was over 40 when that started.
Got it.
Um, I I suffered from depression, and I
Okay,
think
me
I lost
too.
about yeah, I think I lost about 2 decades to that.
Too.
Um, like at the beginning of my 40s, I lived the life of kind of a recovering junkie, but I never had any of the fun of heroin, you know, only the bad part. Um, Not that I ever took it. Uh, so yeah, I feel like I got started with my life around the age of 40.
Got it.
And now, uh, I'm the luckiest person I know.
That's so cool. How in the world? So you were funny inside but never let it out, or
No,
where'd the funny
I've
come in?
I've always I I started doing stand up in high school.
What?
Brian Kiley, um, and Cat's a Rising Star, when I started doing stand up, the I you know I was doing it at Nick's Comedy Stop, the Comedy Connection in Boston, and my favorite was Cat's a Rising Star in Harvard Square. And it was like the golden age of Boston comedy. Look, this is the late '80s.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
the hosts of the shows
Mhm.
at Catch were Brian Kiley, Wendy Liebman, and Louis C.K. Uh, so it was very exciting. Um, and then I went to college and stopped. And I started doing sketch comedy. I was one of the founders of the Brandeis sketch comedy troupe Boris's Kitchen, which, as far as I know, is still around. I think they're in their 33rd year.
My gosh.
Um, and I hope they are. I hope COVID hasn't killed it. But uh, I did see a show a few years ago, and goddamn, they were good. Um, and sketch comedy kind of became my love. Uh, I did a little bit of stand up. After college, I moved to New York. It's the like January 1993.
Okay.
Um, and the I loved being on stage. I loved the 5-10 minutes of actually doing comedy, and hated everything else.
Absolutely. I can think of a better way to say it.
Like I didn't want to do stuff in New Jersey or Staten Island. Not that I have anything against those places, but I just,
No.
I didn't want to do it. I didn't
Yeah.
want to be at a club until 2 a.m. Um, I In my 20s, I wanted to watch music. I wasn't a musician, but I love music. I think really because I can't do it at all. So I can love it without judging myself. And
Got
I judge
it.
myself on everything else. But music is magic. So I would see
Yes.
a lot, and I didn't want to, I actually did hang out with a lot of comedians because I lived with a lot of comedians, but I didn't want to be at a club till like 2 a.m. I would rather have done something else, and I did something else. And then probably depression. I was offered a ton of opportunities, and I found a way to burn every bridge.
Oh, bless your heart.
Uh,
I can so understand. Because
yeah.
in 1996, I got hit by a drunk driver,
Oh
and
God.
I never struggled with depression.
Mm-hmm.
I felt a lot of pain for other people, empathy. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I saw a lady beating her daughter, I saw a man beating his dog, that would make me sad. But just internally sad, that never happened to me. And I had a lot of crap happen to me and just managed to laugh through it all. But then when I got the brain trauma, I found out what depression was.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not sure how much it defines me, but it certainly defined my time.
Yes.
Like, I know I don't look 52,
No.
and for that I have to thank depression.
Okay.
Uh, because I'm pretty sure that, like, in my attic there's a picture, there's a portrait of me that uh you know that looks like shit but is happy. Um, but yeah, but I've always, the comedy has, I think, has not, has been completely different. I mean, it's not the same. It, a lot of people say, well, depression makes you funny. I don't think it does. Um, I would stay up late to watch the Tonight Show and watch Evening at the Improv. Uh, Preferably alone. I just wanted to be alone and watch and laugh. Um, always, it's always been something I love. And I gotta tell you, I don't call myself a comedian.
Really? Tell me
Really.
about that.
Um,
Everything you say is interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, I don't work at it.
Mhm.
It's like the beginning, it's like the difference between a chef and a good cook. I, to people who are, come to the Blue Annex, I understand, uh, they might hear, well, if you're not a comedian, what the fuck are you doing? Sorry for the language. But, um, I have very good taste. I know that I'm funny. I know that I'm clever. I don't think I'm smart, but I don't really have to work too much at jokes. I
Got
kind of
it.
know what works and what doesn't intuitively, and I don't really know how that works. Um, a comedian is someone who really works at it and really hustles. And I look, everyone who comes to the Blue Annex, everyone who's part of Rampantly, which is how I got involved in online comedy. Uh, I'm and everybody I know who's a touring comic, and I know a lot of them.
I'll
I'm
bet
in
you
awe.
do.
I'm in awe of the work they put in, the hustling they do. Just thinking about it gives me a headache. Um, and that's one of the reasons I love doing the annex, because I love helping them.
That's wonderful. I know you helped me just like a couple weeks ago at the most.
Yes.
You sat down with me and heard my jokes and stopped me and gave me feedback and gave me new ideas. I haven't been able to implement all of them, but I thought that your tips were as brilliant as any other tips I've ever gotten.
Well, thank you so much. Uh, and
Absolutely.
and I love doing that.
You're very good at it. I have to come to one of your I have to come to your rampantly Jolie RX scenarios at the Blue Mic and get some feedback because, you know, different set every time and get more and more feedback from you because I really enjoy your perspective.
Well, you're always welcome.
Thank you. I'll have to make sure to do that soon.
Uh, so yeah, I stopped doing stand-up uh probably when I was 23 years old. Though I don't quite remember because god damn, it's been a long time. And I did sketch uh until about until the early 2000s. I had a sketch comedy group, and we were called Bedtime, and it was great. Had a lot of fun. Really proud of the work we did. Uh, I love theater. We were the house group at we closed down theaters. um, uh, there was the early 90s, in the 90s, I guess in general in New York, where was kind of a golden age of black box theaters. Off Broadway was thriving. Uh, it was after the early 90s recession and rents were down. Uh, and there was just a lot of exciting stuff going on. And I went to New York to be a playwright. And
Wow.
I joined uh, the 42nd Street Workshop, which is a fantastic group. It's now the Workshop Theater. They're no longer on 42nd Street because Off Broadway was demolished. Um, but they had just spun off from a theater group called the New Group, which I still around and still really vibrant. And so much great work came out of the 42nd Street Workshop.
Wow.
I met so many great people, and I learned that I did not have the patience to be a playwright. Because, a play's never done.
Really?
Yeah. You keep workshopping and even when it's performed, you keep redoing it, rewriting it, reworking it. And I loved being a part of it, but I'm a little ADD. Actually, I'm a lot ADD. And so I started doing very short plays, and they turned into sketches.
Great.
And a friend and I realized that nothing was happening late at night at the workshop, but we had the keys. So we started putting on a late night cabaret. And there was in the 90s and into the 2000s, there was a show in New York City called Moonworks, which I loved, and we wanted to steal it. We wanted to do our own Moonworks. And so we told people at the workshop that we're doing this late night cabaret based on Moonworks, where we give you 10, 15 minutes to do anything you wanted, anything.
Wow.
And we wanted to see what people would do. And we gave the audience, it was $5-10 we were charging at the time, and we offered the audience free drinks and candy.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the 90s. Things were cheap. Granted, it was cheap wine, but free drinks and candy, you couldn't beat it.
Yeah.
And we sold out, pretty much. We outgrew the workshop. But one thing we found out was that people wanted to come to the party, but they didn't want to put the work in to do an act. And I get that, because, it's work. So we started filling the time with sketch comedy, and eventually it was all our show.
I
And
can
then
see
we
that
outgrew
happening.
Yeah, and then we outgrew the 50-seat theater.
Wow.
And I still work with that guy. He is he's also, we've been working together for 30 years almost. He works the agency. And yeah, we had a really good run. We became the house group at the Westbeth Theater. We did an Off Broadway show, and we sold out that run, and we lost our shirts.
What?
Yeah, because here's the thing about theater. You need to know what you're doing on the business. And look, I am not good with money.
Not either.
I've got to go fuck me account. People just log in and grab. So we put on this extravaganza. We had a full band, we had dancers, it was Vegas show, it was incredible, but way too expensive. And that was the end of Bedtime, which was the name of our group. So yeah, then fast forward through depression, failed marriage, everything else. And I wanted to do sketch comedy again. I mean, that was what I wanted to do.
Yes.
But, especially I wanted to do live sketch comedy. And the problem with that is you need people who have consistent schedules. You need people to be able to work together. And when you're in your, mid to late 40s, and everyone is older, they don't have that time. Brian Adams said it best in the summer of '69. Johnny left, Jimmy got married, right? Or maybe those are the wrong names, I don't know. But I just, I couldn't find people who had the schedules to do sketch. Not that I did either. So about 3.5 years ago, I started doing stand-up again.
Wonderful. What's your desire to get back into sketch comedy?
What is it?
How deep is that? Or is that a thing of the past for right now?
Honestly, I fell in love after, at the age of 48, 49, I fell in love with stand-up.
Good.
I don't need to do it.
I have a question for you that has nothing to do with sketch or stand-up. Little bit to do with stand-up.
Sure.
How come have you not been picked to do a role about Robin Williams?
I don't do enough cocaine.
I think if they go to do his life story, you should play the part.
Thank you so much. Here's the thing. I've gotten a lot better at performing. I'm not an actor. Uh, and I know this. I'm a terrible actor. Uh, I was doing a couple years ago. I was doing some sketch. Some friends and I were shooting. We were doing some video sketches, which again, I prefer live stage stuff. But I figure you take what you can get, and I had some friends who wanted to do it. And I was doing it, and my wife was watching, and I said, "How is it?" She said, "Well, you need to act better." And that's the nice way of saying it. I took a couple of acting classes in college. And here's what I learned. Acting is hard. It's really hard. And I'm always me. I'm not good at impersonations. I'm not good at being another person. Sexually, I can't role play.
What a drag.
Really good, you know?
It's hilarious.
And look, I'm in awe of great actors, because I know it takes just a ton of talent you have to be born with, and that's not nearly enough. Then you have to put so many years of work into developing that talent.
You know what I like about you is you really respect every craft. You just don't say, "Give it to me, I can do it." You like, you know what you're looking at, and you're like, "Yeah, you know, I don't have what it takes."
Well, thank you.
That's a real asset. You know, most people are egotistical, and they're like, "I want to be an actress," you know, won't put the time in for a class, or they go and do stand up, so maybe somebody will put them in a role as acting, you know, want all the shortcuts and don't want to do the work. And you're like, no matter how much work I do, I don't think I have the gift of acting to begin
Yeah,
with.
I'm very egotistical in a very narrow way.
Got it.
Look, I do stand up.
Yes.
So I have to be egotistical. Although I don't know how egotistical I'm about that. I feel I know what's funny.
Yes.
Like, I feel like in the Blue Annex and when I'm coaching, that that I know I can do. Like I said, all I have is my taste.
Yes, and you have very spot on taste. And I bet you can spot good talent.
Yeah, I think I can.
Undeveloped talent, I bet, at the mic.
Well, you know, we're trying to do that with the Nice Guys show. And granted, I mean, not everyone is unknown. We're getting some people who are a little known. But the whole idea of that was my friend Kate Hester, Kaythester. Follow her, find her. God, I love her work so much.
Spell that for me again.
Kate Hester.
Kayte.
Yeah, she is so funny.
Hestr.
Hester, Hester, like Hester Prynne.
Kate Hester.
Yeah. We were talking about how, you know, comics often have a reputation as a group of being socially awkward assholes. And yes, we know some who are, but we also knew some nice people and some nice, really funny people. And we thought, okay, let's try to showcase people we think are really nice and really funny. And that's how the Nice Guys show came about. The next one is January 11th, 8 p.m. Eastern. And I will send you the information on that. It's my birthday is January 10th,
Okay.
though hopefully, not going to be my birthday, as we said. But it is going to be my birthday show.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
I'll see if I can get there to watch it.
Great. So yeah, I'm just every show we've had has been excellent. I mean, really, really fun people.
You know why it's been excellent? Because you got the right
Why?
motive. What?
Oh, yeah. Well,
when your motive is right, of course it's going to be wonderful. That's how I feel.
Thank you.
And a lot of hard work.
Look, I'm a 52-year-old, or not yet, but say a 51-year-old straight white Jewish male. My time is over. And probably for the right. And that's not to say I don't think I'm funny. I know I am. But look, it's time for the world to move on. I have a full-time job. I'm married. I'm pretty happy with my life. I'm not going to be a touring comic. I didn't like doing that when I was 20. I'm not going to do it now. And I perform an awful lot on Zoom. I don't know what I'm going to do when the Zoom era is over. That said, I hope it's over soon. If I don't move back to New York, and again, I don't know what I'm doing. I hope I do, but there's not an awful lot going out here. And even when I go back, look, I'm sitting at home doing this. I don't see myself going out to Mike's and staying up late and drinking. Yes, I always have a martini in my hand when I'm on screen because I'm sophisticated. But I have like a drink a day. I've got one drink a day. And when I go out, that changes. So yeah, when this whole thing starts up again, it's a hobby that's taking a lot more time now.
Yeah.
And I always hope to be able to coach comics and help them write their jokes. But as far as performing, Zoom has been a great gift to me.
We are so lucky to have you as younger comics. I can't tell you how grateful I am to people like you who have done comedy, been working road comedians, and are now just willing to do whatever to help those younger in the business.
I mean,
Special.
through Zoom, and look, I got to props to Jolie.
Totally. Oh my gosh.
She is a goddess.
Oh, she drives me mashugana.
Yeah.
She runs circles around me. Are you kidding me? I can't keep up with the girl.
But through her, I've met, so many people around the world.
Yes.
And so many people with so much talent.
Yes.
And, I want to see people do well.
That is so incredible. Okay, so the pandemic hit us, and Zoom has come into your life and refurbished your focus. And so would you say that's the biggest gift the pandemic gave to you, or are there other amazing things around with your wife, with your work, where the pandemic made you a better person?
Well, I've lost 40 pounds.
What?
I
I know who gained it.
Yeah, a lot of people.
All
I started doing
of
it.
us.
I That started last January, but the pandemic has really. I do what I call my prison workout. A lot of calisthenics, and look in New York, I most of my meals were restaurant food,
Yeah.
and you know, I I'm not going to apologize for that.
No.
Uh, but I cook here, and I I cook, fairly rich food, but you know, I it's still never going to have as many calories as restaurant food.
Yes. It's so much better
So
to cook at home.
yeah,
You actually know what's in your food.
what's in my food?
If you're paying attention, you actually know what's in your food.
Oh yeah, 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 and I mean we eat a lot of food from the farm, so
Oh, that's so wonderful.
yeah, and look, I'm lucky to do that. I'm not going to uh I'm not here to judge anyone's diet,
No.
and I don't like being judged. I eat a lot of crap. But
What's
we're in
it
a
been like?
right now that where I have access to amazing stuff.
Yes. What's it been like living in a house with a wife and cloistered in there? For you, have you gotten to know your wife a lot better, or have you guys learned to push other's buttons a little smarter? There's got to be something funny about making it through the pandemic with a wife that's not hurtful.
Well, I I did used to have a pandemic joke, which is I know a lot of people are going through this alone, and my heart goes out to them. I don't know how they do it. I could not do this at all without my wife because this is her place.
Yes.
But uh, and it's strange because my wife is this condo that we have that I'm in right now. We bought it because of my wife's job. She's a professor at UMass, and during the semester, she stayed here quite a bit. So we got this place. Um, and so, she was gone during the semester, uh, half the week, most weeks. Then during the summer, she would travel to conferences and travel to do her research, like go to Israel. She writes on film, and
Wow.
she's an expert on Middle Eastern film and Russian film.
Wow.
Uh, and so we always actually had a lot of time apart. Um, and another one of my jokes was, um, and I think people will understand this. My At the time, my girlfriend is away for a few weeks, and I miss her so much. But I think that if you've ever lived with a significant other in a tiny apartment, you'll understand what it is to miss somebody with all your heart and never want them to come back.
That's hilarious.
And yet, you know, uh, since March, we have seen each other every day. Uh, and we've been together for 6 years. Uh, so this year, so we had 5 years of not seeing each other every day, and
Yeah.
and I'm thrilled.
That's great.
Not to say that it's not sometimes hard.
Exactly.
I think it's probably harder for her. But I it, I miss travel. I miss
Yes.
socializing.
Oh my
I miss
gosh.
going out. I miss being on stage. But and I look, I miss. I thought I could. When I say I don't know that I could, that I might be living here. uh, I love it out here, and I'm from Massachusetts, but I hope that doesn't happen because I got
Yes.
we went back to stay at our place in New York a few weeks ago, just for a weekend to see what was up. Um, and I went to the Met in the morning, uh, which just gave me, a renewed life force. And then I know I shouldn't have done it, but I went to the Fairway on 72nd Street, and just seeing the olives, all the colors of the, which it's hard to get other places, just the
Yes.
olive department. Uh, just I feel okay.
Yes.
This is life.
This is life.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I want to go back to our tiny one bedroom in New York.
Yes.
But yeah, no, uh, I'm grateful for every day I have here.
Totally. Our time is about up. I've got like 3 minutes, and I want you to close out the show by either thanking people or telling people where to follow you to help your career. Anything you want to say to close this out. 3, 4 minutes for you to wrap it up in your own way.
Okay. Well, uh, first I'd like to thank you, Linda, for having me on.
You're absolutely welcome.
Then I'd like to thank my wife, Olga, for putting up with me
Absolutely.
and making my life 1,000 times better. Uh, I'd like to thank Jolie for getting me into this.
She's persistent.
Yeah, no,
She is. She's got something to sell and she
yeah,
knows it's going to help people.
yes, no, look, I'm in the Jolie cult, absolutely.
I know it. She's so
Um,
great.
I'd like to thank Kate Hester for uh, making the Nice Guy Show reality because I'm big on ideas. I'm an idea guy.
Me too.
Um, I don't execute enough.
It's hard to when you have a lot of them.
Yeah, I guess so. Uh, Everybody who's come to the Blue Annex, everybody who watches me, everybody who follows me on social media, which you can do on Instagram
Okay.
at AStokering. That's AS. Yeah, I know. uh, I was an early adopter of Instagram. I didn't really do anything with it, but I realized I I started it before I realized you had to have a cool name. ASTOKERRING. And to help people remember, my first marriage, uh, also a wonderful person, although it was not a wonderful marriage, um, largely the fault of my depression. But I hyphenated the name and it's Stoker Ring at the time. And I thought I'd keep it for a while because uh, family relationship to Bram Stoker.
Got it.
And as anyone who grew up a little goth, that means something.
Wow.
Um, so the Instagram is A Stoker Ring, and I just never changed it.
Got it. So
Um,
people can follow you on Instagram as AStokering.
yeah.
Where
Twitter,
where else? Okay.
uh, AaronSR, AaronSR.
Okay.
And they can search me on YouTube, although I haven't really taken advantage of it. I've got some stand up there. A bunch of the uh, TV spots, commercials I've written and things are there.
Wow. And that's
Um,
is that Aaron Ring or
that's Aaron Ring. Should be Aaron Ring on, yeah. Um,
okay?
and I've still got room for Facebook friends.
Got
And
it.
since I'm middle aged, I use Facebook.
Okay.
Uh, I try to put up uh, some kind of joke a day, at the very least on Instagram. Generally,
Okay.
it's text. But um, I vomit out a lot of jokes over the course of the day, and I
Me
have to
too.
write them down or my head explodes. So they're all
Me,
on
t-
social media.
me too. Every
That's
single
it. Yeah,
if it comes to my head, I type it.
right. It's the only
I
way. Otherwise, it's floating around your head, getting in the way.
there you are.
Uh,
Why have a notebook if I can bother other people with it?
yes,
I keep it to myself.
exactly.
Aaron, you've been excellent to interview. You're fascinating, you're interesting, you're such a great guy, so sweet and
Thank
kind
you.
to give your time. And so you have the blue mic. Remind me what day and time that
It's
is.
the Blue Annex. I do
Blue Annex
perform
mic.
often on the Blue mic. It's not even a mic, it's a workshop. It's the Blue Annex.
Workshop.
And yeah, uh like Anne Frank, the secret annex, but this one is blue. Um that is Thursday nights, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern. Uh it's a drop-in. So I put the link out there about 10 minutes before we start. I put it
Okay.
on Displaced Comedians. I put it on Hot Breath, and I put it on the Blue Mic page. And I also have a Blue Annex Facebook page, which is very sloppy. But I put it there, and if you want to like that page, if you want to like Blue Annex, that's probably the easiest thing to do.
Okay. So the
Uh,
Blue Annex workshop, and
yeah,
that's 9 to 11 on Thursdays Eastern. And then your nice guys show.
nice guys. Yeah, the Nice Guys show.
When is that's twice a month?
Right. It is the next one's January 11th. And then we're doing January 25th. So it looks like it's the second and fourth Monday, or second and last Monday of every month.
Okay. And what
And
time is that Eastern?
that's at 8 p.m. That is a free show. Kate and I, and hopefully comics performing on it, will be uh, publicizing it in the coming days on social media. So just drop us a line and we'll get you the link.
Wonderful.
And it's free. It's a donation show, so we hope people will donate to the comics
Absolutely.
if they like them.
Well, I'm going to head on out, but I haven't so enjoyed getting to know you. You're
Well,
just a
thanks, man.
delight. Everything you say, you're not pretentious, and you're amazingly patient. You're patient with me, you're patient with yourself, answering questions. And I, I can't think of a better person to have interviewed. I'm just so touched by Jolie RX and the rampantly cult that you referred to it as. She has a following a downline better than most people in Amway ever did. I could never
There's
get
a-
Amway going. She's got this rampantly following.
Mhm.
And you're a part of that, helping other younger comics in the business. So hats off to you.
Well, thank you.
And you got this
And
history of all this work you've done in stand up and in sketch comedy. Holy Toledo. People are so lucky to have you.
I'll tell them
Mean
that.
it.
Okay,
You tell them to call me. I'll straighten them out.
I will. Good night.
Me and Jolie will box their ears off. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Aaron Ring.
Okay, Happy New
Catch
Year,
you
everyone.
later. Thank you.
Bye.
I'll post this with all your stuff and I'll send it to you so you can share it.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, Aaron.